don't have any amazing secrets here, so if that's what you're after, magic, I don't want to disappoint you and waste your time, but I thought I'd do an overview of my experience in my 70s towards attaining a, so far, 320-pound touch and go bench press, improving about 45 pounds from age 70 to 74. I'm all natural to the max. I've never done any kind of drugs or needles or pills or supplements to get stronger. No creatine ever, although I've talked to guys who swear by it. I never heard of TRT until a year or so ago on YouTube. I even avoid aspirin, Tylenol, and such. We live in an all-encompassing drug society, and I try not to be part of that. I'm not selling anything here. I don't represent a pharmaceutical company. I'm no fitness or strength guru. I don't worship any influencer. I'm ignorant of a lot of the newest strength rages. I never heard of hypertrophy until recently. I'm not professing to absolutely know what you should do to get stronger, and all I'm doing here is laying out my story as one example among many, especially what my obstacles have been as a senior citizen and what worked for me in getting a fairly respectable bench press number deeply in old age. Actually, for my age group, a 320-pound bench press is more than respectable. It's unusual. This I know, and I wonder about that. Why is this so? There's nothing special about me. Aside from the obvious age-related issue of gradual body deterioration, why is it that so few men my age are still in life's game at this physical level? My own opinion is that environmental factors play some role. Our drug culture and its side effects, the pharmaceutical company culture that has strangleholds on our medical establishment, our poisoned food culture, various kinds of social disincentives as we age, and all the rest of it pounds most of us into the dirt by the time you're as old as me. Everybody is different, and every body is different. So how I do things may or may not be of any value to you. There may be some better avenues to increase strength, but all in all, I can't complain where I'm at, per old age. Again, I have no illusions about myself. I am not an old age Superman. I am not a strength guru. And I could drop dead of some disease or heart attack or something I don't know I have tomorrow, the same as anybody. But so far, so good. People have commented at my YouTube channel that I'm inspirational and such, simply because of the weight I can bench press in old age. I appreciate that. Truly I do. But some things are unavoidable, and I've got the same difficulties any other old person has. My back is sore often. I've got all kinds of aches and pains. I'm not as flexible and agile as I used to be. My energy and stamina levels are fading, and so on. They say you lose muscle as you get older. I didn't know until recently that there's even a term for it. Sarcopenia. I think that's how you pronounce it. After age 30, muscle mass supposedly decreases 3 to 8% per decade, increasing in loss over age 60. I guess I've been able to fight that downward slide, at least per strength measured. At age 74, I've been able to get back 95% of my best bench press ever, 25 years ago when I bench pressed 340 pounds. I weighed about 200 pounds then. I weigh more than that now. But when I was in my 30s, I once bench pressed 330 pounds at a body weight of 172. It is possible that I had more potential than all that back then, but I was never interested in the many, ironically, health compromises you'd have to make to be a competitive weightlifter. I wasn't driven to get stronger and play a muscle man role in life. A little background now, which is likely relevant to where I am at now. We don't all have parallel histories. I've weightlifted off and on across my life, a few years lifting, a few years off, then getting back to the gym and having to work to recover what I've lost. So I've got a referential base of lifting off and on across my life, but I've not had a steady upwards trajectory. I've been sometimes dedicated to getting in the gym, but not a fanatic. In my 50s and 60s, for example, I did a lot more hiking in the wilderness than weightlifting. I still hike, but not as much. I'd estimate that over a 20-year period, up until a couple years ago, I cumulatively hike somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 miles via a few hundred day hikes, one or two hikes on most weekends for years, lugging a backpack through deserts and forests, many treks meandering up and down gorgeous valleys and western mountains. I was never a competitive weightlifter, never a bodybuilder, never a powerlifter. I just got into the gym sometimes to try and keep in shape and get a little stronger. I blew my back out doing warm-up squats when I was in my 30s, which pushed me away from squats and deadlifts in the later years. Although the bench press is often considered to be the ultimate measure of upper body strength, it seems like a very lazy kind of exercise. After all, you're laying down flat on your back in a veritable sleep position. In that sense, it's easier than the far more demanding squat and deadlift motions where your whole body is in dramatic play. Old guys who can still squat or deadlift with fairly serious weights amaze me. So many people have bum backs, including many among the young. A few years ago, I decided I wanted to bench 300 pounds again before I died, so I dedicated myself to that goal. When I reached that pinnacle, I decided to try another rung and reach 315, which is a milestone in anyone's development with those three large 45-pound plates on either side of the barbell. Unless you're on steroids or some other artificial additive, it's a long, slow, and tedious process to get there. Patience is everything. About 20 years ago, I injured my elbow, not in a gym, and had to have surgery on it. I can't fully extend my arm straight because of the rigid way it healed. The surgeon who operated on me specialized in sports medicine and told me that he saw my problem in many prison guards. Why was that, I asked. He said because they weightlifted. I was surprised insofar as I didn't think that I weightlifted that much overall to induce the prospect of elbow bone chips and such, and I wondered if throwing a baseball a lot in my youth contributed to the potential for future elbow problems. So, I haven't ever followed a special diet. I haven't monitored my protein intake or anything like that until a few weeks ago to see if that mattered at all in my strength development. So far in this short time, it has meant nothing. I don't eat much red meat. Like I've said, I avoid all drugs, even medicinal ones. There may be a day when I need some drug to stay alive or something, but not yet. I consume a lot of dairy products, milk, yogurt, cheese, including sometimes cottage cheese. I eat a lot of muesli cereals. Is that how you pronounce it? No sugar, no salt. I have a sweet tooth, though, so I'm not immune to junk food sometimes. As far as my actual training is concerned, a really big deal is that when all the public gyms closed during the pandemic, I didn't lift for about 9 months. I lost a ton of ground, and I decided to create a home gym. A little late, I guess, as such an ancient guy. This home gym has been a huge boon. It cuts out all the downtime to drive to a gym, the fiddling around in its locker room, showering there, driving home, and all that. A home gym means there are no excuses to avoid exercise, period. Yes, it becomes an isolated enterprise. There's no gym camaraderie with others, no motivation from lifters who are way stronger than you, no human spotter to help you pull up that last rep. But a personal gym is completely your own environment, not only as an exercise area, but a meditation space. It is an extension of you. In my case, I can look out my garage door and see distant hills a few miles away, a big sky. I used to play music while I worked out, but usually now I lift in silence, just thinking. One of the principal experiences I have as an old lifter is my decreasing energy, stamina, and endurance, especially in the last 2 or 3 years or so. I used to aim to lift 3 times a week, every other day, specializing in upper body exercises mostly, but that is spread out to more like 2 days a week, with only an occasional 3 times a week. At my age, rest and recovery, a sound sleep is a big deal. Without a good long rest, my gym day sucks, and I'm in no hurry generally. I take a long time between sets. Sometimes I go into the gym, do my initial exercises, and if I feel especially pooped, I even bail for that day. Sometimes I try again the very next day and do better. Occasionally, I'll take a week off. I principally focus on the bench press. And my routines are always geared to push myself with slightly increased poundage if possible. I start off in the gym with bench presses first. I do a loosening set with the bar only, then I jump to 135 pounds for 10 reps. Then I leap into my actual work sets, usually 5 or 6 sets, and this varies in weight. On all exercises except warm-ups, I don't aim to push to failure, but I do aim to do as many as I can. Occasionally, I get a failure during the last attempted rep. So sometimes I'll go from the warm-up 135 to say up to 225, at least that, and do as many as I can. Then I'll tackle a higher weight and do as many as I can there. Then higher, 5 or 6 sets of this. Rarely, but possibly, more sets. Sometimes less. Sometimes these sets are in a rough pyramid form, up weight numbers and then down. Sometimes not. Just straight up, up, up. Then done. I vary the actual weight I do on different days, so I've always got different challenges in pushing myself to the best different form of repetitions with any given weight. Or recently, rather than 225, I might go from the 135 warm-up set to a work set of 255 or 275 or even a little more, pushing up as many repetitions for each set as possible. In other words, after doing the 135-pound warm-up, I don't follow a rigid numbers routine except to try, always, to do a little more weight with whatever number I choose to do. After the 135 warm-up weight, I like to vary what poundage I do next with, again, at least 225 pounds. A good day recently with 225 pounds is 13 or 14 reps. I record my daily weightlifting numbers in a notebook for reference to see how I'm making progress today compared to the past, and from these stats I can determine what higher weights I need to attempt against what I had prior accomplished in the past. Whatever weight I do after the initial 135 warm-up, if the number of repetitions is more than I did before, this tells me I've got a chance at a new maximum bench press number, so I usually give it a shot. So in other words, on such a day I'd start with a bar-only warm-up, do 10 reps at 135, then jump to the workload set, say 285 pounds. When I recently got 3 reps with 285, that was a new accomplishment beyond 2 reps in the past, so I thought then I might have a chance at 315, which I tried and barely managed. A good day recently with 270 pounds is 4 reps, and sometimes I might start with that weight after my 135 warm-up. I vary the bench press form too. Sometimes I pull down whatever weight I'm doing and touch it quickly off my chest and then back up. Sometimes I drop it down and pause before going back up to make it harder. Sometimes I pause with my feet in the air to make the effort harder still. A few years ago I did all my bench presses like that, even when I was shooting for a max. Other exercises I do on the same day as bench presses variably, depending on how I feel, include pulls with my cable rowing machine, which I bought for $200 on Craigslist, cable triceps pushdowns, and shoulder pull downs on the same machine. Sometimes I do dumbbell curls or barbell curls as a variant. At times I've done bent over rows with dumbbells, dumbbell bench presses, dumbbell raises and such. Sometimes I throw in exercises for my back on a back machine, leg raises on the cable machine, calf machine exercises and so forth. But the bench press is my main concentration. How many I do and how often I do them with any of this is related to how I feel on a given day. More and more as I get older, there are days when I only do the bench press routine, and that's it. I'm beat. Like I say, I don't ingest anything artificial to gain an edge, energy-wise or any other way. The trajectory of progress is more an upward zigzag than a steady forward drift. My strength and attendant energy on any given day can vary greatly. I've had some serious setbacks and obstacles in my quest for 315. Just before I turned 70, the pandemic hit. Public gyms shut down and I didn't exercise for over 6 months. Once I got started again, I almost sliced my finger in half when a barbed wire fence I was working on gave way. I lost some time in healing there. Then a year or so ago, I reached 312.5 pounds on the bench and decided to try to do negatives with 335. I did them with a few repetitions on a couple occasions, but the last time I tried them I injured my shoulder, playing with a weight still out of my league. This set me back. a few weeks. But I worked back to a 312.5 bench press and outrageously checkmated again so close to my goal I caught the flu and was in bed for 6 weeks. I didn't even have the energy to take a shower or make a sandwich. Bizarrely, for a couple of weeks, one of my feet was so sore that I could barely stand on it. When I got out of bed after all that, I was stunned to discover that I could only bench 210 pounds, a 100-pound loss in bench press strength. It only took 6 weeks to massively lose my strength, and it took me nearly 6 months of tedious struggle with something called post-viral fatigue to get back to the strength neighborhood where I had been. I'm old. During that period, I had plenty of doubt that I could ever crawl back up anywhere close again to that 315 goal. Maybe I was finally irreparably beaten down. I didn't know. I felt especially weak for months, but a grueling patience and a relentless effort to try got me back to where I finally scored the 315 and later a 320. So, this is one man's story. I have no doubt there are people out there who say I should have done this or that or those or not do this or that. One routine is better than another, that I'm doing something wrong, or that, say, as I have heard, creatine, which is found naturally in the body, is in condensed density by the pharmaceutical labs, also natural, and I might get 10% stronger. I might be able to bench press close to 350 pounds. So what's my problem in avoiding it? There are all sorts of people on the internet who want to tell you what to do and are eager to sell you something to do it. If there's a price tag to their pitch, I ignore them. My own conviction is that you can't buy the prime ingredients you need to get, in every sense, stronger. Anything worth doing is worth doing with self-respect and personal integrity. Hard work and perseverance are the primary performance enhancers that really count. If genuine personal health is part of the formula, aim for a spot and struggle to get there, period. You see, I guess part of my old age strength success, such as it is in large part attitude. And part of such a perspective is this: beyond illusory bionic man fabrications, young or old, truly our personal physical endeavors are intricately entwined with spiritual ones, an important combination towards health that would be another, albeit much more intriguing, story. Define the spiritual as you like, but genuine health involves both physical and spiritual attributes which, combined, shape you into the strongest force, for good, I hope, you can possibly be. What's my old man future? I don't know. What's yours? When I have a few bad days in the gym in a row, I sometimes wonder if that's it, and my strength is poised to plummet. Old age has finally, irreversibly caught up and thrown its tarp over me. Is this how it will end? My strength starts descending on a regular basis, or will it fail quickly like a stone? I'm not a fortune teller and can't tell you your future either, nor can I confidently advise you on how to get stronger. For myself now, I'm shooting for a 325 bench press, but maybe soon I'll prioritize losing body weight and sacrifice my current bench press max. Maybe even tomorrow there will be a grim knock on my door by a dark shadow, and I'll discover my weightlifting days are suddenly over for some reason. All I know is that I plan to keep on fighting for my life for as long as I can, with a pile of heavy iron weights around me, ironically both holding me down and lifting me up into places I have only hoped to go.